Bring it on in. Here we are on a wet and dreary Wednesday. Daily Ticket with you rolling on. Joining us live via the Gambler stream. Talk a little bit about everything as he often does at the midweek little hit here on the Gambler, representing the squad over at The Athletic, the one and only Mr. Larry Henry Jr. Larry, what's been new on your plate, man? I know last time we spoke, you were covering NFL for The Athletic, obviously just starting. Now they got you doing some college football. Look at you, jack of all trades, but we already knew that.
Yo, Sean, what's up, dude? Yeah, man, glad to be back with you. Athletics been great. The team has been really awesome, really welcoming. I know it's pretty funny. I was just saying to my wife yesterday. I think this is week number 4 now, so just kind of flew by, and yeah, done a little bit of everything. A little NFL, a little college football, championship weekend last weekend. Some big time results. Bracket came out on Sunday. So was excited to break that down. And then last week and last night did some NBA Cup in season tournament. So back at it again tonight, another doubleheader. Knicks, Hawks, and Warriors, Rockets. So should be exciting. And then yeah, get into the weekend. Some more football, a little. Actually, yeah, and then semifinals, final of the NBA Cup this weekend. So disappointing not to see the Sixers there, but they've been pretty disappointing all season, right?
Yeah, no doubt about that. Look at Larry Henry Jr.'s bio on X right now. Global live reporter at The Athletic, still the managing editor, U.S. men's national team insider, as I'm wearing my U.S. men's national team sweatshirt at this point in time, and formerly representing PhillyAmbitter.com. Still up there. I love it, Larry. Looks great. And of course, you did a ton of work for us. Still continue to help out, and can't thank you enough. But man, keep going, bro. That's great. Global live reporter doing it all for the folks over at The Athletic. But I look forward to our hits because, look, at the end of the day, getting someone with the knowledge that you bring to the table on hockey and, of course, soccer, it's not something that we all have. So you cover all the other sports very well, but I know you specialize as far as footy is concerned, and in, of course, over there on the ice. We got a lot to get to. We have ourselves a pretty good team here in Philadelphia. Mitch Koff, I was joking with our new digital director. I was like, she's like, what about the Flyers? What's the like there? I'm like, they've been off the grid for a couple of years now. There is interest, but you know how it works. New year, we'll see what happens. I did say I wanted to roll out a Mitch Koff minute. So if we could, let's start there. As far as the Flyers right here, right now, and again, as I was looking over the standings before you and I got together here, right now, currently 29 games played, essentially for everybody in the league. That's probably the average. Few have played 30, few have played 28, so on and so forth. So, Mitch Koff, what's your big takeaway through 30 games of the season for the Flyers this year? What's the ceiling? Is he a superstar? Is he a guy that, look, I put our bias to the side nationally? Everybody should be tuning in to see what this kid is doing. Does he have a comp at the professional level that maybe you want to put out there, Larry? Break it down. Mitch Goff minute for us here on the Daily Ticket.
Yeah, man. Mitchkov's been as advertised, I would say. He's really come in, put his head down, went straight to work, and he's lived up to it. And I think the fans are really excited. I know they were excited before he kind of made the move. I know you and I had been talking about him and was excited to see what was going to happen next. And he's been as advertised: 27 points in 27 games, point a game. 11 goals, 16 assists. He's second on the team in points, second on the team in goals, third on the team, second in everything, assists as well, +5 on the plus minus. So he's just really fun to watch. He's kind of fearless in a way. He wants big time moments. He wants the puck on his stick. He wants to make things happen. Scored some big goals so far for the Flyers. He's definitely been a bright spot. I think Travis Konechny's been their best overall player this season, and I think that's huge, right? Because he just signed the big contract in the offseason, another 7-8 years with the orange and black, and hopefully he kind of finishes that here in Philadelphia. But Michkov is definitely not shied away from the spotlight. He's been the best rookie in the NHL this season. I think. I mean, we've talked about it before with the Calder Trophy and the odds, and he's definitely up there. And I think he's the favorite right now to win it. Um, and I think John Tortorella has done a good job of not really putting too much on this kid's back, right? We've seen it a few times. I think earlier in the season they gave him kind of a healthy scratch. They rested him, and we're thinking, okay, here we go with this stuff again. He's going to start resting people. But I think a 18-year-old like Michkov, I mean, he's a young kid. You don't want to overdo it too much. It's been great to see him healthy, been out there, no, knock on wood, no injuries. And I think the Flyers can definitely use something like that through the second part in the third part of the season, right? Because we have a good chunk of games now. They're fourth in the Metro. They're actually in front of the New York Rangers right now, which is pretty impressive. And that division's brutal, man. It seems like every night it's kind of changing teams, jumping out of the top four or falling out of the top four. So a lot can still happen. We have to see how this team goes over December, January. Do they make some trades? But I think a nice comp for Michkov is a guy that I mentioned before, and that's Artemi Panarin with the Rangers, the bread man. I mean, he's a natural born goal scorer, has been around the block now for a lot. And Michkov does a lot of those same things. He's really good around in tight spaces around the net. Once the puck on his stick, can make things happen, can look for his teammates. And Panarin's done that for years now. So if Matvei Michkov turns out to be Artemi Panarin, then the Flyers really got a good one.
Yeah, no, you brought up the fact that he is leading all rookies in points right now, 27, just to put it into perspective. Next one up on the list is Lane Hudson with the Canadiens. He's in there with 19. So Michkov rolling right along as the season is as well, and a lot to like, as you said, with Konechny. He scored last night, correct? Did he not get on the board last night?
Yeah, he scored last night. They had that 5-3 win over Columbus, and Columbus. I mean, like I was saying with the division, man. I mean, the Flyers 30 points right now. They're in fourth spot. You have the Rangers and the Islanders 1 point behind the Flyers, and you have Pittsburgh and Columbus 2-3 points back. So it seems like everyone's kind of jam packed right now in the Metro. So it should be fun to watch.
To make the playoffs, courtesy of our friends over at DraftKings Sportsbook, at this point in time, the Philadelphia Flyers on the yes, plus 400, on the no, minus 550. So the odds makers are still not believing that the Flyers will make the playoffs this year. Larry, as we sit here on December 11th with a lot of hockey to be played, are the Flyers good enough to make the playoffs in your mind? Is that a good wager at plus 550, whatever I said it was?
I think it's a good
400,
wager.
plus 400, plus 400. Sorry, plus 400.
No, you're good. No, I think it's a good wager. Right now, like I said, there's some good teams in the Metro. Washington right now is in first with 40 points, which nobody really expected that, right? But they're in first. You have the Devils sitting in second. They've had a really good season so far. Carolina in third, and then you have the Flyers in fourth, Rangers in fifth. I think when it comes down to it, it's really going to be about goaltending and defense with the Flyers. I think they can score. They can score pretty good, right? 5 goals last night against Columbus. They've had some other games where they've scored even more. But even when I watched them on Saturday, they played the Boston Bruins up in Boston. They were up, I believe it was 2 goals in the third period, and they coughed up the lead, and then they ended up losing the game. And I mean, Boston's been pretty subpar this season compared to years past. So if the Flyers really want to be a threat and be in the playoffs, I think they're going to have to shore up the goaltending, whether it's Sam Ersson being the number one, whether it's Ivan Fedotov or Alexei Kolosev being in the mix as well. Defensively, I know they've had some injuries, but they're getting guys back. It's just about getting the consistency going, getting these guys on the ice. I know when you're playing a lot of games, you don't have all that time to really be on the practice rink and working on things like that. But they're going to get a break at some point, and hopefully they can they can kind of shore that up, because if they can, I don't see why this team can't make the playoffs. But like I said, you have a good team in the New York Rangers right behind them, who have a lot more firepower and better goaltending than the Flyers, and you better believe they're gonna be in the mix for the playoffs as well. So, but I like the value. I think the Flyers are definitely playing a lot better than we probably would have expected when I talked over the summer. Now they've got some big wins under their belt, and it's all about keeping it going. Like you said, they got Detroit Red Wings coming up tomorrow on Thursday. Detroit's no slouch, right? Patrick Kane, Dylan Larkin. So there's no easy game in the NHL, and we're going to see more of that down the stretch.
Flyers and Red Wings tomorrow night at the Wells Fargo Center. Fly Guys are a minus 135 favorite at this point in time on DraftKings Sportsbook. Only 2 games on the ice this evening. Let's go ahead and get your thoughts on those two, Larry, because we got to hit a lot of stuff here. Rangers and Sabres this evening. You're looking at the Rangers minus 142 road favorites in Buffalo. Not that far of a trip. And then the Ducks and Ottawa Senators, a little bit farther of a trip there. Ottawa minus 245 tonight on the ice as a home favorite there. Both games coming in with a total of 6. Your thoughts? Give us a winner on tonight as far as the ice is concerned.
Like you said, 2 games tonight on TNT. Buffalo and the Rangers, I think, will be a good one. Buffalo has already beaten the Rangers once, 6-1 back at Madison Square Garden in early November. It's not often you see the Rangers get pummeled like that at home. They've gotten a lot better since then. The goaltending, Igor Shesterkin, has turned it around a little bit. This will be the second game of 3 meetings between the 2 teams. Artemi Panarin, let's start with him. 8 points in his last 5 games, 3 goals. Always a threat on special teams. He's a guy to watch for sure. Buffalo's done pretty well, though. 11 wins, only 3 behind the Rangers. Jason Zucker's got 6 points in the last 5 games. Tage Thompson, who's a really good dynamic scorer, has got 4 goals in that spell. I think it's going to be a good game. I like the Rangers, though, to go on the road, get the win. I think they need it more right now to kind of keep this trek up the Metro going. And then looking at the later game between Anaheim and Ottawa, 2 teams kind of where we expected them to be. Anaheim, only 10 wins this season. They found it a little tough to get consistent wins. Troy Terry's had a good season, 6 points in his last 5. Frank Vetrano, the goal scorer, with 2 goals in that stretch. Trevor Zegras is a guy to watch. I think when the trade deadline comes up, maybe the Flyers could be in the mix. I would love to see that. Zegras in the Flyers uniform, really good goal scorer. Ottawa, I think has played a little bit maybe below their potential, right? With guys like Claude Giroux still there, Tim Stutzel, 6 points. Anaheim won 4-3 back on December 1st. So this is the last meeting between these 2 teams. I like Ottawa at home. I think overall they just have more firepower offensively, and Anaheim's been pretty bad keeping the puck out of the back of the net.
All right. And to put a little bow on this hockey conversation, just to let you know, to win it all right now, Florida Panthers 8-1, Edmonton 8-1, Carolina Hurricanes 8-1, Dallas Stars 9-1, Rangers 10-1, Toronto Maple Leafs at 11-1. We'll stop there. Avalanche 12-1. We'll stop there. Pretty wide open as far as that is concerned, Larry. You did say that there was a bunch of good teams. We already went down that path, but normally there's one team that likes to separate themselves from another 30 games into the season. Doesn't seem like that. We got a pretty good pile up here at the top of the list as far as odds on favorite on DraftKings Sportsbook. Is there a team that you're liking out of those 5? The Panthers, the Oilers, the Hurricanes, Stars, and Rangers?
Yeah, I think Edmonton, right, is always a team that's going to be in the mix when you got guys like Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl. McDavid missed some time, right? We talked about that earlier in the fall, and he's come back and really hasn't missed a beat. Both of those guys are in the top 10 in scoring, as expected. McDavid's got 38 points. Draisaitl's got 38 points. I think another team that could be scary. I don't believe you had mentioned them on the list was Colorado. The Avalanche could be a team further down the mix. But again, they're a team that have won it in recent years. Again, a team like Edmonton that has 2 really good goal scorers in Nathan McKinnon and Mikko Rantanen. Both these guys have over 40 points, so they're in the top 4 in goal scoring. And I think for them, the big thing with Colorado is just keeping the goaltending consistent. So Edmonton, I think, would be a fun team. Obviously, they were in the final last year before they lost to Florida. I think you can't count Florida out with the amount of goal scoring they have. That list just continues to grow. And then you have Sergei Bobrovsky, the eventual, I think, Hall of Famer in net. So it'll be fun to watch. But like you said, dude, there's a lot of teams in the mix. 42 points, 40 points, 39, 38. A lot of teams. I think the LA Kings could be a sneaky team. Washington, when Alex Ovechkin is back fully healthy. So a lot can happen over the next few months.
Excellent stuff. Larry Henry Jr. joining us here, talking all things hockey. We're going to switch it on over and get over to the world of the EPL in just a second. But one quick note as far as hockey is concerned, you got to give it up to Biz and what he did in that the Scottsdale Six, taking them down. It's been pretty crazy to just follow along. And then the videos were released yesterday, and this dude, sticking up for people. Like, I love it. I love that, and it's not something that's easy these days. If there's an altercation going on the other side of the bar, and you might look and you might like, man, I don't want to get in the middle of that. I don't want to get stabbed. I don't want to get shot. But obviously he didn't give a damn, and he rolled in and took on 6 dudes and then some. And man, that dude, he gets a tip of the cap. If I gave an award away for a year, as far as badass of the year in the media, I got to give it up to him. Biz Nasty holding it down, and he's pretty good on television too, man. So, things work out for a reason. So I think that something like this is only going to elevate him. Of course it is, because it's bringing so many eyeballs from non-hockey fans out there that are just saying, man, much love to him for doing what he's doing. If I'm the owner of that place, I would hope that they're going to like give him his own booth. And Houston's down there in Scottsdale, but he's pretty good, man.
Yeah, no, I like Bissonnette. I think that's pretty cool to see. I mean, that kind of maybe exemplifies who he was as a player, right? He was a scrappy player, a fighter in some ways. But yeah, this guy, like you said, 6 getting attacked by 6 guys, and like you said, probably you or me, maybe we're looking the other way. We're getting out of it. This guy runs right into it and takes care of his own. So, yeah, it's cool to see. And I think he's been really good to see on TV, because you mix a guy like him with Wayne Gretzky. It's pretty interesting to see those 2 guys on TV breaking down the games. A guy like Wayne Gretzky, the great one, and then you got a guy like Bissonnette, who 2 very different types of players, but obviously have those experiences. So, yeah, pretty cool to see from Biz.
All right, great stuff, Larry. Let's keep it moving, and let's get on over to the world of English Premier League. First of all, actually, hold up, MLS, man. Quickly on this, because I know we can't get too bogged down on it, and at the end of the day, money controls all. But man, if the MLS plays a championship game and no one watches, does it really matter? I just didn't really hear anything about it, and it featured LA and the Red Bulls. Like, I knew it was going on, but I'm a soccer fan. I'm an MLS guy. Like, I don't know what's going on. The league as a whole, as far as attention, has taken a huge step back with that Apple deal, and there's no doubt in my mind that that's the case. Now, like I said, it's both ways of looking at it. You take that, contracts are going up. It's a huge, feather in their cap, trying to get it out there. I don't know if that was the right move in the grand scheme of things, and I don't know if I'll have the answer yet. Maybe 5-10 years down the road. I'm sure there's some financials that you could slam in my face and be like, of course it's the right move. Look at that. But there was some serious buzz, in my opinion, for the MLS, and maybe it was the fact that the union were doing good. But where do you stand on that conversation? Like, I feel like things were moving in the right direction for the MLS as a whole. Attention, playoff atmosphere, getting the buzz. And then all of a sudden, the MLS Cup Championship, the final takes place, and it's like, wait, that happened? I don't know. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, obviously over the weekend, like I was tuned in on Premier League, college football, all that stuff, and then I'm like, oh yeah, MLS Cups today. Like, forgot all about it. Was hoping they were, a month ago, I was hoping to get there, and Yeah, I mean, hats off to the Galaxy. They were able to get the win over the Red Bulls. Being from this area, it's good. It's kind of good to see the Red Bulls lose. But yeah, I think overall the attention in MLS right now is, I'm not a huge fan of the Apple deal. You're not going to really convince me to pay the money to watch these games regularly. Some games here and there, finals or semifinals, of course. But yeah, I think it's definitely kind of taken a step back. The interest level, I think, for the average fan is maybe decreased a little bit. They're obviously, I think they're a lot in your face too, right? With Messi and Leo Messi, this Miami, this all these big names going to Miami, and it's like they kind of shove that in your face a little bit too much. So I think it gets overdone. Um, so I think it's still a work in progress. We'll see what happens. Obviously, a new team coming in this year, San Diego FC coming in, already made a couple big signings, got the expansion draft. So it'll be interesting to see. Obviously, there's roster moves left and right already happening. Tom Bogert already breaking news left and right with MLS. So that's going to continue through the winter. So it'll be interesting to see. Hopefully, for our sake, being from the area, hopefully the Union can kind of turn it around and make it a little bit more enjoyable. Right, big moves coming up. Who do they get as head coach? Who do they get with the roster? A lot is going to happen over the next few months. But yeah, it was a little weird. I wasn't as amped up this year for MLS Cup as years past.
Yeah, and one quick note on the Miami stuff. Even this year in the regular season, as dominant as they were, it wasn't really there. You had to be the diehard MLS guy, and I don't know. It'll be interesting. It's going to be an interesting case study down the road. Like I said, and I don't think that they have to be with Apple for the rest and the MLS's existence, but I just felt like the league itself had a little bit more buzz, attention, going in the right direction, and then all of a sudden, in the last 2 years, it's kind of fallen by the wayside. And again, I know that the Union have struggled, and maybe that might have something to do with it for me. But like I said, man, some of these storylines just aren't getting any attention. And you get an LA Galaxy, their sixth ring, versus the Red Bull, which is obviously a proud organization, now playing at Sports Illustrated Stadium. So it's just odd to me. That's all. But I wanted to get off my chest. All right, quickly over to Manchester United. Nottingham Forest, Larry. Come on. At Old Trafford. Are you kidding me? I can't take it anymore. And I know the new guy's in there, but I just want all new players. I just want to just scrap this team. And I love Bruno Fernandes and I love Marcus Rashford. And I'm sure I could go down a list and find some other players that I've been fans of. But I am so sick and tired of this team going out there and then 5 minutes into the game, they're down 1-0. And it's like, dude, it's soccer. This isn't like you can go out there and hit a home run, like you go down 1-0, the game drastically changes. And I know they tied it up, but I've had enough with this team right now. We're Manchester United fans. What should we be doing right now? What should we be saying?
The good thing is you have Ruben Amorim as the coach. I think that's the positive right now. You can take is you have a new guy in the midst. There's going to be he's obviously going to get the January transfer window to make some moves. I'm not sure the financials of how much he's actually going to get from the board, from the ownership. But yeah, I think like you said, some of these guys, it might be time to head out. That it's not working out. This is Old Trafford. This is the stadium where teams hated to go, where Manchester United never lost, at least on once here and there. Now they drop points on the regular at home. Like you said, Nottingham Forest. I mean, they've had a good season, but it's Nottingham Forest. It's not Arsenal. It's not Liverpool. It's not Man City or Chelsea. It's Forest. So, yeah, I'm curious to see what happens with the roster. Who maybe goes out in January, whether it's transfers or loans, who they potentially get in. I know that the new coach hasn't had tons of time to really work with the team, and there's been, guys that have been in and out of the squad because of injuries. But the consistency has to come at some point, for this team, especially if you want to get back in the midst of being in the fight for league titles and domestic cups and European aspirations, not the Europa League and the Champions League, the bright lights of Europe. So I'm curious to see how Amarim kind of gets it going here, with this team, who he kind of has on the radar in terms of players. They have another Europa League match coming up tomorrow, and then they got a big one on Sunday, across town against Manchester City. And even right now, dude, I mean, they have a full chance to win that derby on Sunday because Man City's been so inconsistent in the last month, and it's kind of been painful for me to watch. I feel your pain a little bit watching it, but
Stop.
not as bad as you,
Yeah.
but it's tough, and that just shows you, I think, the Premier League, right? Anything can happen. Anybody can beat anybody. It's not like a cakewalk win, Inter Miami and MLS. It's anything can happen on any week of the Premier League. These are world class players, and I'm just, again, I'm curious to see how Manchester United can kind of turn it around, at least for this season, because you're getting into that busy Christmas schedule now. Games coming every couple days. Then the new year starts. They got the FA Cup. Then they back in league play. So, and it's going to happen. Injuries are going to happen. I think roster is going to be tested a little bit. So, eager to see what happens. But obviously, a big one on Sunday. And if they can get the win at Man City, which is easily doable right now for them, I think, because Manchester City's been so up and down. If they can get a win there, then hopefully that can maybe for them start to trek upwards in the league, because you look at the standings, right? You have Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City, Forest, and then you got to go through some other teams, and then you get Manchester United in like 11th or 12th, and it's like, really, like, come on, this is the biggest club in England. I'll even admit that, and I'm a Man City fan.
Yeah, it's very frustrating. And like I said, it's just wild because you tune into a game against Nottingham at home, and I know Nottingham's playing better, but come on, dude, it's just so deflating. That's the only word I got. And then kind of like where I'm at with the 76ers and Manchester United, it's all rolled up into one. It's like, dude, enough is enough. Anyways, DraftKings Sportsbook showing right now that you can get Man City minus 180 at home, plus 400 for United to go on the road and come away with the victory. I'm not buying what Larry's selling me. Maybe you can push me to a draw at plus 360, but there ain't no way in hell I would waste my money on Manchester United this weekend. We'll see. I know the new manager there, new blood. Maybe he gets them motivated, but it's ugly. Liverpool at the top, not much change there. Arsenal still holding it down. Chelsea is in there. Liverpool looks good, though, this year. Chances for them. Defensively, they're playing really well. Is that the big difference this year?
Yeah, I think that's the big thing with them, right? 14 games played, only 11 goals conceded, so that's less than one a game. It's the best in the Premier League. They've been really good. They've only lost one game all season in the league. 4 points ahead of Chelsea, who have been really above the radar this season under the new coach. Arsenal in third, had some hiccups here and there. Man City's definitely had hiccups over the last month. Hopefully, they can kind of straighten it out. And then you have Forest in fifth. I don't see Forest staying there for the longevity of the season. I think you're going to get a team like, like an Aston Villa or maybe a Tottenham or a Brighton, somebody that comes up there. Maybe Manchester United if they can get a string of results together. But Liverpool is definitely, I think, the favorite right now. I think right now, I think you have to say Liverpool's the best team in Europe. They're winning in all competitions. They're beating Real Madrid in the Champions League. They just won again in the Champions League. They're 6-0 in the league phase. They're the best team in Europe right now, and everything's clicking for them defensively. Mo Salah's scoring, it seems like, every other game. They're still trying to lock him up on a long-term deal to stay at the end of the season. So it'd be interesting to see that, because I know PSG is in the mix. But it'll be interesting this Christmas period, man. It can kind of make you or break you in the Premier League, because you have so many games in such a short period of time, and that can really kind of boost you up the table or drop you down. So I'm eager to see what happens over the next couple of weeks.
Larry Henry Jr., L Henry 019 on socials. Catch him on a number of outlets, but representing the squad over at The Athletic. And of course, joins us here for the midweek hit, catching us up on everything on the ice and in the world of the English Premier League. Larry, always a pleasure, sir. Hopefully the Flyers can continue to their winning ways, and especially tomorrow for the home crowd. And I look forward to talking to you next week. And who knows, maybe a Manchester United victory over City on Sunday.
Yeah, we'll see, man. It's possible, but yeah, thanks for having me, Sean. Good to connect with you, and we'll catch up next week, buddy.
My man, there he is, Larry Henry Jr. once again on the Gambler Stream. Keep it locked right here. More Daily Ticket. And as always, if you miss anything, catch everything over at foxphlgambler.com.